What's good, y'all, man? So today we're gonna be going over last gen and next gen Madden, comparing them, seeing what's the same, what's different, and like just really what are you missing out on, or what are you not missing out on. So let's get into the first one. We got player movement on next gen. Player movement on next gen. I already kind of went over that before. It's pretty bad. Everyone moves like you're underwater. Like it's like you're like, bro, just imagine being underwater and trying to run. Like that's really what the game feels like. Like that's the perfect way to sum it up. On last gen, player movement is good. You know what I mean? Like it feels, honestly, I think if like last gen feels more realistic than next gen. It does, just because like you could do like stop and goes and all that shit, which EA apparently thinks that stop and go isn't realistic when it is very realistic. Like next gen, you can swerve and do all that shit. Kind of like it's really weird. It's just really like it's really funky, bro. Like if I'm being honest, it's just weird. They try to make some realistic shit and they fail. You know what I mean? So next up for next gen, we got zones do not play their zones. So on next gen, like the best example is there's two deep blues, right? You have the one where your corners are on a deep blue running backwards, and then you have the one I think it's actually go to outside third, the one where like your safeties on like those two deep blues left and right, and they just don't play them. Like that's the perfect example. Really, every zone doesn't play. Like there's times I have a hook curl out there, and for some reason the hook curl runs to the flat. I swear to God, sometimes the hook curl will just run right to the flat and take the guy. Like, alright, so zones don't play their stuff. On last gen, the zones play a lot better. Now, obviously, I know, there's times the zones don't. Like hook curls, I know, like the hook curls on last gen would still play way better than on next gen. Like if I have a hook curl and it's running to the flat, that's an issue. You know what I mean? Like just sometimes like they wouldn't react as much on last gen. That's really what the issue was. But on next gen, it seems like I don't know. Like it's just, bro. Like how did they get released? You know what I mean? Like. Alright, next up we got the play calling screen for next gen. So the play calling screen, now obviously it's newer, so obviously it takes a little bit of time to get used to it, but I feel like they try to do I feel like they just try to do too much with it. Like it's a play calling screen. You don't, there's really no need to even change it. Like and something that this has happened to me like a couple times on the play calling screen when I go to do my audibles and bunch, a glitch happens to where I can't do them anymore. So like when you go to when you get 4 audibles, I only get to do 2 audibles now the entire game. So like I go to the line and I get 2 plays to pick. Like it's just because I mean there's 4 plays I like to switch between at the line that I really only run because I like to come out with a run and then my 4 extra plays, so in case depending on what he's running. So yeah, the play calling screen is terrible. On last gen, the play calling screen is simple. It's not confusing. You understand what you're doing. It's just like, okay, I like this. You know what I mean? Like, it's simple. You know what you're doing with the subs. It's nothing stupid. Everything works. Like, it's just, I don't know what they be thinking, bro. Next up, for next gen, this is the only good thing I'm probably gonna say about next gen, but the route running is nice. It looks really good. It's crispy. You know what I mean? It looks clean. You could tell they worked on that, but that's really it. That's all they got. You know what I mean? On last gen, the route running, it's not bad. Everyone's route running looks alike. You know what I mean? Like there's no really difference or anything. But I mean, that's not a terrible thing. At least the game is a lot better. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather have everyone's route running look the same than have a game that just comes out like next gen did. If I'm being honest, though. Yeah. All right. So next gen we have the game breaking kicking glitch. So they haven't fixed it yet. Basically I did a video on that as well. There is a glitch in next gen Madden to where sometimes on kickoff there's no timer and you could just be sitting there forever. Like so it's just how it is sometimes. I don't know like if there's a way to like get it to like activate that, but I don't know if a lot of people notice it because look, I play a lot of bums, and I'm sure if they notice that, they will never kick me that ball. So that's a pretty big issue, like, for people that's playing next gen, and EA acknowledged it. And that's it, they just acknowledged it. But on last gen, another big issue on there, you can get DC'd a lot by people. Now, I don't know if you can get DC'd on next gen. I haven't got DC'd yet. I'm not sure if you can, just because the way the whole loading screen is. So basically on next gen, once the timer goes off loading into your game, like 1 second, 2 seconds, or where you're looking for someone, like once you find an opponent, you get right into the game. Like there's no loading screen. You just get into the game, boom, and you're playing. So, and obviously on last gen, it's like you're finding your opponent. Once you find them, you gotta wait for like 20 seconds, 15 seconds to load into the game. And yeah, so that's, DCs. But what's worse, getting DC'd or never getting the ball on kickoff? I don't know. I mean, I do know, but it is what it is, bro. Next gen football, oh my god, next gen Madden, it prides itself on realism football, all this realness, but in reality, it's not real at all. It is far from real. Last gen Madden is 100% more realer than next gen. Like next gen, there's just so many things that factor into it not being real. One with the movement. The movement's the biggest thing. Like that's not real, right? You pride yourself on realism, but the movement isn't real. The way people play the zones isn't real. The way people run looks really like weird and just kind of like, who runs like that? You know what I mean? Like, what in the hell? Like, the point I'm making is last gen Madden is better, but like I said, the reason I'm on next gen Madden is because Madden 22 is going to be somewhat similar to next gen Madden 21, but it should be 1,000 times better. You know what I mean? But it's going to be somewhat like it, so I just want to get used to it. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? Both games suck in my opinion, right? But one sucks a lot even more. So I don't know. Like either game is a lose-lose. Well, you could say last gen's a little bit more of a win, but you ain't wrong. But that's basically it. So both games have their issues. One game has a lot more issues, and both games have something that that is good about them. Last gen Madden, I would say, is the player movement. Next gen Madden, I would say, is the route running, and that's really about it. I mean, we didn't really talk about graphics. I guess we go into graphics for a little bit. Next gen Madden's graphics are better now that I have noticed it. The graphics are better, but it's not like a crazy a lot better. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like you can go back to last gen Madden, you'll get used to it pretty quickly. So there is that. And one more thing though, this gameplay I actually watched. So this stadium we're in, the Cardinals, I don't know if y'all can tell, but when we were playing this game, that stadium was like really bright. Like when we were in the light, I was actually squinting because the stadium was so bright. Like the lighting was just beyond bright. I was squinting. Some of y'all in the chat were saying like, yeah, like what the hell's wrong with that stadium? It's pretty crazy. I can't lie though. That was like that's another like just like what in the hell's wrong with next gen Madden? What is wrong with it? But we'll never know. So basically that's gonna do it though. That's next gen Madden and last gen Madden, breaking them down, just breaking down a lot of major things, not a whole lot of little shit. So that's basically it though. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Fuck with your boy, man, and I'm out.